Today, we are all gonna play consultants. We've got a $1 million firm in transition. You got a legacy partner. You got a new agey hipster partner. And let's just say there's some opportunities. Let's roast a firm.
You call that a profit margin? Yeah, who needs automation when you've got 5 monitors? There is a mouse? Oh, is that what the client said? Well, maybe the client should prepare the return then, huh?
This firm is such a great example of a firm in transition. Up first, an overview. They're sitting at about $1 million a year in revenue, and that revenue is split 50-50 between tax and accounting work. They're set up in a small city, have some rural clients, and are made up of 2 partners and 6 staff. Pain points. This is a firm in transition, a mix of legacy and new tech-minded clients and staff. Bottlenecks today are bookkeeping during tax season and tax review. High-level team members are getting stuck doing too much low-level work, and client communication's been poor, just due to messy practice management. Now, what are they enjoying? This individual, one of the partners, most enjoys client-facing advising, particularly with tech-forward clients. The annual cadence for this firm? January is a mix of 1099 work, year-end bookkeeping, year-end and quarterly payroll reporting, and the staff's working about 45-hour weeks. February ramps up to 50-hour weeks with bookkeeping, corporate, and individual tax being the focus. March and April, you're up to 55-hour weeks, with everybody going all hands on deck on corporate and individual tax. Bookkeeping doesn't get work done at all. May through October, things slow down, 34-hour weeks on average. The big focus in May is to get the bookkeeping caught up, then it's maintained on an ongoing basis as the rest of the tax projects are completed through October. In November and December, they retool for next tax season, get the next year engagements out, update prices, and do a bit of planning with high net worth clients. Workflow, they're on the full Thomson Reuters suite, and all bookkeeping is done in accounting CS. They're using the Thomson Reuters client portal and Gruntworks for tax input automation. Tax document gathering is the usual mix of drop-offs, email, and portal submissions. Monthly accounting is coordinated via email requests. Some accounting clients get monthly financial statement reviews, while others they simply plan with annually. Billing. Bookkeeping's billed out the first of each month, reset each year. New tax clients are given a minimum estimate, billed on completion, with an expectation of an increase each year. Entry point for 1040 pricing is $250. They're working to push to an average of $500, and the entry point for businesses is $1,000. Minimum monthly for any bookkeeping project is $300 a month. Last, sales and marketing. It's a mix of Google, referral, LinkedIn, and Twitter. They've done no paid acquisition. New potential clients complete an intake form, and if they're a fit, the team will reach out to gather additional information, and an initial minimum price is quoted. One of the partners occasionally goes rogue and wings this whole onboarding process.
Who else is licking their chops right now? So the goal today, let's get this firm like 2 or 3 actionable bits of advice. You can leave your perfect firm maxims at the door. What are the next couple steps for this firm to get to a slightly better place than it is today? We got some killer input for this on Twitter. I'll link the original tweet below. Here's a few of my favorites. Nicole Davis shared, it all comes down to figuring out the firm you want to be. Start there. Jacob Schroeder said to outsource that payroll reporting. Yes, please stop doing quarterly reports. Spread out your tax work better and pick up a bookkeeping intern in tax season. Kylie Parker, I like this one. Bring in a third party to hold you accountable. The reality here is it's the friction with your partner that makes a lot of this hard. Pull in somebody else. You don't have to be the bad guy. And Rachel Fish, separate out that bookkeeping team. You got to isolate them from the tax work. Now, there is a lot we could get into here, but here's kind of the top of my framework, the place to start. I first want to know, what do you want? It's got to start there. Next, who's your firm going to be? Like what it'll be known for? And from there, ensuring that what we're selling aligns with those 2 things. Okay, everything starts with what you want to do. It doesn't matter if you're making that Warren Buffett money if you aren't enjoying yourself. I don't care how big your yacht is. So for now, we're ruling out that legacy partner. We're ruling out the messy aspects of the firm. We're just starting with you. What do you want? Now, in the intake form, you said you most enjoy working with clients to solve their problems, particularly tech-savvy clients. To borrow a framework from eMyth, you sound like a technician. A technician loves doing the thing. They love doing the thing so much, they went into business to do the thing and quickly learn all the other aspects of your business take away from letting you do said thing. Now, I think it's totally fine to run a firm with that technician mindset. That's where most small firms are at. It's just gonna come with some trade-offs to be aware of. Myself, I like running a firm with the entrepreneur mindset. I'm very quick to get myself out of the work and think about what's next. I'll set the vision, but I will get super bored as soon as I start doing the work. The upside is I'm able to think bigger picture, get strategic, while this is generally gonna be an afterthought for the technician. The technician's busy actually doing the work. They aren't thinking about big picture things. So how do you build a firm around a technician? Well, probably means you don't want to build a huge practice. 6 people isn't a bad size for this sort of person. But if you keep growing, it's gonna hurt. So instead, put some boundaries around your practice, probably revenue size and headcount. Try to build the best firm you can within that box. You may not always be a technician, but as long as you are, be wary of taking on too much, or you're never gonna get to do the stuff you actually enjoy doing. Now, what is your firm going to be known for? And how can we align that with what you wanna do? Chad Davis's framework centers on deciding what you wanna be and building capacity around that. So often we don't know what to do next because we haven't yet decided what we are. And as easy as it is to feel trapped by the business you have today, remember, you have control over the next client you bring in or don't bring in, or the next person you hire. And that's a change that you can start today. Doesn't always mean ripping up the carpets, throwing out everybody you got. Think instead in terms of what's the next project we're gonna do or the next client we take on. So this person enjoys working with tech-forward clients. Where do these sort of people congregate? Obviously, software developers. In my experience, most people in professional services need to be pretty savvy. Maybe individuals with equity compensation, usually working for tech companies. It's worth getting more specific, carving out a space where folks are generally going to be pretty savvy and staking what you do in that thing. Even if, for example, software development isn't like super exciting for you, if the type of people in that space are the type you enjoy, position yourself to be the solution for them. Nobody's looking for a solution for tech-forward people. They're looking for a solution for their creative agency or small software development shop. So decide on a compelling problem for which you can be the solution. Then start spending more time around wherever those people are hanging out. Once you've got a few of them, be more discerning about who you're gonna let in. If you've got a funnel of the perfect type of work, then that normie funnel just got a lot less appealing, right? So get more discerning about who you let in that doesn't fit inside that box. It's gonna take time. You won't have that network tomorrow, but your job is to lead the firm on a path towards greater specificity. The spectrum of a totally general firm to a niche firm is humongous. There are a whole lot of steps along that journey. Your job is to just start taking baby steps down that spectrum, to start wrangling what you do to get you down that path to be a little bit more specialized each day. The greater the specificity in what you do, the better your team will be for those clients, the more you can charge, and the easier it will be to build workflows around what you do. So revenue today is coming from tax and accounting, but if what you enjoy is problem solving, there's probably a greater advising opportunity there. They mentioned they're capacity limited. The first thing that happens when you're up against capacity is you become a really crappy advisor. It's the first thing that falls off the list of to-dos because you're too busy fighting fires. Now, if you're gonna go into the business of advising, like virtual CFO stuff, it is admittedly challenging to staff for and will consume more of your time. But remember, we're trying to align the firm with the stuff you wanna do, the stuff that you enjoy. So equally important to what you're going to do more of, advising, is what you're not gonna do. So something's gotta come out of these buckets. And for technicians, this is hard because you like doing the thing. In your case, it sounds like you probably need to get out of some tax work, maybe get some more review help to open the door to doing more advising. Now, where do you start with this if you've never sold advisory or virtual CFO before? Well, first, find a bunch of other people doing the same thing. It's not a new problem. There are a bunch of accountants out there selling VCFO. There's no need to recreate the wheel here. You will cut years off your learning process just by being in proximity to others doing the same. So start there. But your first engagement, start small. Pick a client who you know could use more of your help. Propose 2 to 4xing the annual fee in exchange for meeting once a month. Go over the financials, and that's usually a great gateway to more meaningful conversations. Along the way, you're gonna learn whether it's something you actually enjoy, and if you do, you can start systematizing how you deliver that advising. Remember, accounting and tax are great hooks, a great way to get people in the door, but if advising is what you love, sell advising. Start moving that revenue split from 50-50 to 30-30-30. Okay, that's enough woo-woo, Jason. Let's talk nuts and bolts. What's that actually mean in my day-to-day? First, it's worth considering what it is actually like to spend a day in this person's shoes, right? They're a new agey partner with an old-timey partner, probably a mixed family. You've got staff who have been hired from each person, and pushing change through is inevitably gonna be a mixed bag, particularly with the staff whose loyalties generally will lie with whoever hired them. So it's not gonna happen overnight, and that's okay. My best advice, just do rad stuff. Be compelling. Convince people they can be rad too. Accountants chronically underestimate their capacity to change, and when they do change, you gotta rub it in their mother faces. You say, look at you. Look what you were doing a year ago when you were scared as Great job. Now let's talk about what you're gonna do next year. This is an unnatural state for accountants, but you kind of have to prove to them that they're capable of doing this. The good news is, in a 2-partner, $1 million firm, if you're only carrying half of that, you can absolutely crush that other partner. If you're doing something actually compelling, you can easily double what your partner's doing within like 5 years. Now, do today's services make sense with where we're headed? Do we need to add or remove everything? Remember, in general, the less your firm can do, the better. What makes running an accounting firm so hard is we're asked to do so many things, have so many different areas of expertise. Currently across 6 people you have to have. Tax expertise, that's not getting any easier. Payroll expertise, that's a dumpster fire, thanks remote work. Accounting expertise, which on the one hand may seem simpler, on the other hand is actually much harder to do efficiently. I think the low-hanging fruit here is probably payroll. Definitely get out of the business of quarterly and year-end payroll filings. There's no need to be doing that anymore. Gusto, QuickBooks, ADP, a bunch of services will do those filings for you. And it will never be as good as doing it yourself. Yeah, but those services never do it right. Here's the thing, filing payroll tax returns is thankless, loveless work that you will never make money on. Unless you're gonna move more upmarket to people advisory, that is helping your clients attract and retain talent, building out benefit packages, that sort of thing. If you wanna go down that path, great. But unless you're like going all in on that type of advising, I try to minimize the time your team is spending on pretty much all things payroll. And don't forget, those quarterly and year-end filings are still getting done. It's just getting done with an automated system. So it's not as if you're no longer billing for it. You still bill for it. You're just not doing the work. Honestly, the other thing here, I'd probably try to get off the hook for the small bookkeeping projects. Outsource everything under like $1,000 a month. Look to a group like Bench or an offshoring group to get that work done for you. For new services, new stuff you're gonna introduce, put a couple on a monthly advising engagement like we talked about. Learn everything there is to know about VCFO and see if it's something you actually wanna double down on. You don't really know until you've done it. All right, let's talk staffing. This firm has specifically 2 partners, 5 tax preparers / accountants. Pardon? Another part-time bookkeeper, 1 admin, and usually an intern. Initial thoughts, you maniacs, I think I figured out why your bookkeeping falls behind during tax season. Because you don't have bookkeepers. You got a bunch of tax preparers doing bookkeeping. If someone's paying you for a monthly thing, you gotta do the monthly thing every month. And that means isolating that bookkeeping production team from tax season itself. Now the way I'd build this, either totally outsource it or develop an offshore team of bookkeepers with onshore accounting managers. So you go out, hire 2-3 offshore bookkeepers for the price of 1 onshore bookkeeper. They'll handle the books on an ongoing basis, and the client-facing contacts remain the same. My other recommendation here is probably to lean further into admin hiring. Logan brought this one up as well. Get your admins some basic tax training and let them run point on tracking down tax and accounting info. Your tax pros can easily waste half their days building lists of what's needed, following up with clients when they don't actually get you what's needed. Now the lazy counter argument here is admins won't know just what you need. You gotta push back against this. 90% of the time requests are lists of really basic info. Bank statements, 1098s, stuff like that. Now, after making sure you're doing what you enjoy, there is nothing more important than pricing. You will never workflow or client relations your way around bad pricing. See a whole bunch of videos I've done around pricing. Like 80% of the responses on Twitter were just some version of, oh my gosh, increase your prices. And they are correct. Your workflow problems are usually capacity problems, and your capacity problems are usually pricing problems. You can improve workflow and buy some capacity back, but price will always be king. Now, this is a firm in a small city with some rural clients, but the point of entry for tax work right now is it's quite low, even for that market, like H&R Block pricing. Simply by turning up and getting to talk to the same person each year, you are knocking the socks off of H&R Block levels of service. So the best thing you can do today is never let another client in at that price. You can definitely get your existing clients up, but today, just make sure nobody gets in the door at that price again. Now they said they want to trend toward $500 average pricing for 1040s, which means your minimum should not be $500, it should be more than $500, like $750. So go out and set that minimum for new 1040s to $750. Rationalize this by recognizing you are already at capacity, so what business do you have taking in more clients anyways? So set that minimum higher. The only new clients you get, you're gonna be pumped about. And depending on how aggressive you want to get, plan on increasing prices for existing clients, fixed amount each year until they get to whatever your minimum is. Now, in a legacy firm, this is gonna be a big old fist fight. What about those legacy clients? What about those people who really need our help? They can't afford any more. The people who can afford a $250 tax return, but not a $350 tax return, are not the people in today's society who most need our help. I suspect the person who submitted this is plugged into this thinking it's the rest of the firm they need to help get up to speed. I highly encourage sharing the pricing motivation video that I did. It puts a lot of our kind of absurd thinking into perspective. Get your firm drinking that Kool-Aid, they'll be right behind you. Let's look at your annual cadence. So how do you communicate what your firm does for your clients year round? January gets off to a real shit start because you're doing year-end and quarterly payroll, doing 1099s, doing year-end accounting, probably talking engagement management with your clients, and tax work's starting to trickle in the door. Of all of the things in this video, your January is a turd that I think we can truly make sparkle. So we talked about outsourcing payroll tax filings. Just stop it. Just don't manually prepare payroll stuff. Stop it. But the next step is to cut back on 1099s, and I know what this looks like. 50% of your 1099 projects are like one 1099 for a client, or no 1099s, but you still had to go in and take the time to figure out if they needed them. And you can't bill shit for this, but you know what needs to be done? I had a similar problem. Here's what I'd recommend. Roll out upfront pricing for 1099 work. If clients are less likely to engage you to do it because they have to pay up front or because they see the prices up front, congrats. One less 1099 project. Mission accomplished. Great job, everybody. So set the point of entry here high. That first 1099, make it cost like 250 bucks. Down with itty bitty 1099 projects that aren't actually itty bitty because they're happening in January. Clients will complain, and when they do, give them a great DIY guide for free. Wow, you are so generous. And then in about 2 weeks' time, they'll come back with their $250. Now, February through April, success here comes down to two things. One, making your clients do tax planning at year end. And two, not taking on too many 1040 only projects. So for every client you work with, you want to proactively tax plan before year end. Know what they need to pay by April, if anything, and don't touch that work again until after the April deadline. This may be a hard thing for old clients, but it's another example of something you can start tomorrow with new clients. Never again take on a client for whom you can't year-end tax plan and extend. Just like a new minimum pricing, set that expectation from day one. Bada bing, bada boom. All new clients are summer clients. Brandon Hall touched on document deadlines on Twitter. Get real aggressive and real clear about exactly when people need to get you stuff. That's docs for year-end tax planning, docs for putting together an extension estimate, docs for filing a return before April, or even the extended deadlines. Don't leave anything up for debate. Get explicit about when they need to get you that info. Now, 1040 only work. I get it. The best, we're so efficient with them. We can do them so fast, it's like free money. The best analogy I've heard is, it's like finding a $100 bill on the sidewalk. Would you really walk by that $100? Yes. Take my hand, close your eyes, keep walking. Because that $100 project just squeezed out an even more valuable project that doesn't just hit at the busiest time of the year. Now, there is no shame around doing tax season only 1040s. Somebody has to do them, but to make this business work, because it's so seasonal, they need to be done at a big premium. You're like the fireworks stand. You got a very limited window of time to make your money for the year. So if you are gonna build a business around 1040s, you gotta charge a lot for them. Or at least a lot more than where you're at right now. Think like 3-4x. Now, May through September, get your tax work done. Maybe do some mid-year tax planning for folks that can't wait until year end. Then October through December, you are going ham on tax planning because that is where tax season is won or lost on year-end tax planning. Okay, tech time. Oh, talk nerdy to me, Jason. Well, good news here. We've got some opportunities. What's that? Oh, welcome, Ulysses. Hello, my name is Ulysses Cornflower, and I'm a 19th century tax preparer at Ye Old Tax Shop. That's great. Thanks for joining us. We were just talking about technology. What do you think about what we got here? Well, I can tell you there's a lot to like. Is there? Yes. I particularly like accounting CS here. I've used a lot of programs. But when I think who will do accounting right, Thomson Reuters. Yeah, Thomson, that's right. Yes, they are very good, aren't they? My daughter actually dated Thomson for a bit in college, was a lovely fellow, but it didn't work out. Something about support not being very good. I've heard that. I also like that they're gathering client information via email. I too use the Post. It's just, people are comfortable with it. They don't have to learn anything new to open an envelope. I bet. I do send a lot of envelopes. I have a good relationship with the Wagoner. Anything else? That's it. We'll be working late tonight. Second quarter corn tax is coming due. Okay, thanks, Ulysses. Goodbye, you industrious little bookkeepers. Okay, so tech opportunities. The two biggest ones I see, you're currently using accounting CS for all of your accounting, which frankly blows my mind. Instead, let's pull it into QBO or Xero and use Tally4 to integrate with UltraTax. The benefit there is you've got the entire ecosystem of QBO and Xero at your fingertips. You can hire cloud accounting expertise that will be wildly more efficient than what you're currently doing. And with Tally4, you still got a way to push the books straight into the tax software. Second big tech opportunity, a better way to manage client requests. Emailing back and forth is a nightmare. This is where a better practice management system can help, or a client communication layer. For example, using a modern practice management system like Canopy, TaxDome, Carbon, you can set up a list of what you need from the client and let the software remind them. No circling back to, well, why didn't we finish this tax return 3 months ago then? Because you sent a list of questions and they never responded. Another option here that doesn't require changing your entire practice management system would be something like Lissio or Content Snare. But really, after the bookkeeping software change, next step probably ought to be get to a modern cloud-based practice management system. Okay, that was a lot. Let's bring this home. Where to start? What are like the next 3 things I think you should tackle? First, decide who you are. Think about what you enjoy and how to build your own practice around that sort of client. Do not be held back by your partner, especially at that size. If you're doing something compelling, you can squash them like a bug. So the best way to lead is by example. So figure out who you're gonna help. What's the problem you're a compelling solution for? That is step number 1. And honestly, none of the others really even matter until you figure out that first thing. Increase prices, specifically on deadline work, really aggressively, and increase your minimum for new deadline clients by like 2 to 3x. That is 1040s for whom you can't extend, who you can't do year-end tax planning for. If you're gonna start picking up better fit clients, you need some stinkers to go away first. You're at capacity. Hiring a bigger team is not the solution for you. You're a technician. You do not wanna manage a team of 15. You'll never have time to do the work that you wanna do. Third, separate out your bookkeeping team. Hire someone who's actually a bookkeeper, someone with good experience in QBO or Xero. Get you away from accounting CS onto a regular cloud accounting platform. Task a couple of people with being your year-round bookkeepers, isolated from tax season. Pull in Tally4 so you can still push that data automatically into UltraTax. Highly recommend looking offshore for this. I know I said 3, but the 4th for me, it's like a 3.5. It's real close. Would be getting to a cloud practice management system so that your admins can manage client requests for you. Your professional staff is wasting a ton of time managing client requests right now, just tracking down information. An admin can do that with the help of a better practice management system. What did I miss? I'd love to hear your 3 tips below. Most of what I've learned has been from stealing other people's advice. Honestly, we could talk about this for hours, but what I love, taking the time to analyze someone else's firm, that's embarrassing. Makes you look at your own firm differently. Think like a consultant. Get out of your firm groupthink, and you may uncover some new tidbits for yourself. Now, this person shared these details anonymously, and you can too. Put a link to an intake form in the video description. Let's roast your firm next. Ooh. Check, 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 check. Today, we're all gonna play accountants. What? Perfect firm maxims at the door, maxims at the door, perfect firm maxims at the door, check your perfect firm maxims at the door, come on. Oh, this teleprompter's gonna be the death. One of these days I'll do one of these when I'm not sick, and it'll be lovely. Just gotta increase your prices, bro.
Oh, look at those prices.
But I need to make sure that it's just like the... I'd never be caught dead doing that. At least we're better than those guys, right? Right? Oh, okay, I gotta do the green screen thing now, but did I ruin my hair? I can't look, I can't see it.